The DA says it won't rest until public servants who have been flying high for free, courtesy of your tax money, are held accountable. More than 20 million rand was used for domestic travel by former ministers and their spouses between April 2018 and March 2020. That's despite this practice having been scrapped from the ministerial handbook last year. The party has written to the Auditor General to look into the alleged abuse.
Quite bizarre, and some of the reactions we saw today is that, again, politicians across the board who have been riding this gravy train, trying to justify their actions by saying, well, it was written in the ministerial handbook, and so therefore we didn't do anything wrong, we didn't have control over it. Of course, these are the same politicians who wrote the ministerial handbook in the first place, and the question really is whether such a benefit should ever have existed in the first place. And as I mentioned, I am not convinced that simply writing something in the ministerial handbook is tantamount to making it a legal requirement. I mean, by that logic, we could write any kind of benefit into the ministerial handbook and force Parliament to pay for it. It seems outrageous to me. And as you say, this latest issue of continuing to pay these benefits, even when that little bit of legal cover, I guess, in the ministerial handbook was removed, seems really outrageous. But what is important, I think, is that we must give the Auditor General an opportunity to investigate this. And as I say, the AG has very significant new powers to actually recover money that's been lost. I think that's where we need to start. We need to get a finding from the AG as to whether this does indeed amount to the kind of irregular expenditure that the DA believes it does. And then we need to follow up and make sure that the money is returned. And if there was criminal action here, then we need those people to be held criminally accountable. I can assure you and the viewers, the DA is not going to let this rest until we have sufficient answers in the interest of justice. Because as I say, at a time when over 2 million people have lost their jobs, we've got 30 million South Africans living in poverty. It is unconscionable that people who are no longer in public positions continue to feed to the tune of millions of rands from taxpayers.